Hello, everybody. My name is Juan Carlos Brando. Thank you so much for joining us today. And today is December the 8th. It's almost done this year 2022. And it sounds like, well, the time is not passing, the time is not going through, but it's already 2 years or almost 3 years after the pandemic started in 2019, and we are out of the pandemic as the president of the United States declared a couple months ago that we can feel free, we can feel better, that the pandemic is over, at least for most people, and the people that have uh, put the dose of the vaccine, 1, 2 doses, or just reinforcing it. Well, it's an interesting time, and it's not the only thing that is happening in the world. We also know that in many, many countries, there is something going on. But let's talk to the attorney, Margaret W. Wong. Good morning or good afternoon, Ms. Wong.
Good
Thank you so
morning.
much for having us. How are you doing?
I'm good and thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And well, the world has been having a kind of left wing tendency, but let's define a little bit of what a left winger is, which is the one of the some of the parties in the countries that are right wing or left wing. But in Latin America and in most countries, when we talk about left wingers or left wing is people that are socialist or people that are trying to disguise it so that they can establish their communism in some of those countries. But the interesting thing is that in Peru, just yesterday, the president was detained after he tried to dissolve the Congress of that country. So, what can we talk about this, and how does that affect the immigration to the United States?
See, that's why I love my job because anytime, and I have to read the daily newspaper because every time a country change or there's rumors of violence or something, it really helped the people that are either here in the United States already or will be coming in soon. Because as you know, asylum is the three ways to get asylum. Number one is past persecution, resulting in a presumption of a future well founded fear of persecution. And the fear could be subjective or objective. The second way to win asylum is if there's no past persecution, you can project that yesterday, for example, Peru had a new president. My family is the chief minister, or the uncle is the chief minister of the new president, and tomorrow it's I mean the this morning or last night, a woman, the vice president, was signed in or something. So if your family know, like, if there's an asylum claim, not so much on past, but on future persecution, you can also win asylum or pattern and practice. So for example, in maybe in China, all the Uyghurs are being persecuted, or the Xinjiang people are persecuted, the whole area have no Wi-Fi and stuff. That's pattern and practice, right? So you either have pattern and practice, no past fear, but there's a projection to future fear, or past fear resulting in a presumed future fear, or humanitarian. So for example, we represent a lot of older or aged or aging Russian, Soviet Union people, Russian people, Chinese people that maybe in the 60s and 70s or the 50s they went through a lot of like the violence. Millions of people are killed in China. The Japanese occupation, the 3-9 month 3 year 9 month occupation in Hong Kong that happened in the 30s and 40s. So you can also talk about humanitarian, even though now the situation have stabilized, but it's humanitarian. So these are ways you can win. So I'm not saying that all Peruvians can probably win asylum, but I'm just saying that Peruvians who may have already filed asylum, you may want to amend your claim and talk about this, or future Peruvians that were affected by this. make sure you keep like the street, the address, because the more detailed, the better.
Okay, so Miss Wong, we have some people that very often they are asking questions about their green card and situations that they've had regarding to immigration from Peru. So, um, is this something that could probably be a reason for them to file for asylum?
It depends, as I said earlier, it depends, were they threatened, were they related, was there, but under Trump there's no more family asylum, but under Biden is a family asylum came back, or under, so it depends on grounds. But I can tell you now, we really should not, just because something bad happened to Peru, now I'm amending my claim or I'm doing a claim. But that there may be a chance that because of this, that's why I read the daily newspaper. Anytime there's threats or violence, you think of your own situation, see if you fit in the pattern.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And let's start with the questions that our audience are sending right now. And if you have any questions, please don't forget that you can call. The phone number is 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984 is the phone number that you can call to talk to the attorney Margaret W. Wong. And that's the phone number of the office in general, in the 9 offices of the attorney Margaret W. Wong. She has offices in 9 cities, but you can call this phone number and you can reach out to any of the office in the whole nation. Okay, so let's start with this question, Ms. Wong. Hello, ma'am. We submitted all our paperwork for my case with
Mr.
Mr.
Olaidi, one of our
Yeah,
lawyers.
but we have not received anything further for receipt for paperwork or a receipt with case number or nothing. Any idea of how we can check if papers were received or not?
Yes, if you don't mind, now or after the show, call Mr. Leo in our office, 216-566-9908. Within 24 hours, we will let you know what's going on with your case.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And we have another question that says as follows. Hello, my name is Natalia, and I am looking for someone to guide me on how to process the residence, or if I have the possibility and when I can call you.
Okay, what you do is you call our number again and ask to make an appointment. And then once the appointment is scheduled, we're pretty good at returning your call. Normally, I like to do the first call because I'm pretty good at analyzing cases. But if you have a specific lawyer in mind, you can always ask for them. It's not a problem. But call the office and schedule an appointment to talk to us.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. And please don't forget to call. The phone number is 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984 is the attorney Margaret W. Wong with over 45 years of experience working on the immigration field. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call 216-279-3984. Offices in 9 cities: Atlanta, Columbus, Cleveland, Chicago, New York, Memphis, Minneapolis, Nashville, and Raleigh, North Carolina. And the phone number is 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984 is the phone number that you need to call. The next question says, Ms. Wong, hi, Juan and Margaret. How are both of you? An early compliment on the season to you and your team. My question is, do you know of any updates to the family-based green card priority dates for me F2B? It just looks like has not moved in a couple years.
Yes, and I'm really sorry about that. Right now, everything, as I said earlier, is really, really slow. I don't know what country you are, but if you're from Mexico, it's at least 25 years. From other countries, about 5 to 6 years, 4 to 6 years. And if you, anytime, and I know it's so long, but anytime, if you're already in America, you're not allowed even 1 day grace. So, for example, you're already out of status, you're just waiting here for the priority date, then you need to do a 601A, leave and come back to get the green card only for 2 weeks. But 601A right now is taking more than 3 years. But if you're in status, make sure to protect that status. And I'm really sorry about the EB2 backed up. The whole quota system is backed up. It's really sort of bad.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Wong. Yeah, sometimes it's taking very long, and people are getting kind of desperate because they don't have an answer from immigration, and we really need an answer when we are on this process of waiting for our green card. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. This next question is: can a TPS travel doc holder travel and return if his immigrant visa interview is denied abroad?
The answer is yes and no. Depends on your. Actually, the answer is yes. You are TP. That's what. So if your parole is based on a green card application, and the green card was denied, then even then I've seen people come back. But your TPS is based on parole is based on TPS, no problem. Because just because the overseas a DS-260 is denied doesn't mean that your TPS is denied. So absolutely yes, that's actually a smart move. Go out for the 2 week green card interview. If it's denied, you come back on TPS parole. Good job.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. And don't forget that you can call. The phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Good afternoon. I am looking for an experienced attorney to assist in submission of my N400 naturalization paperwork.
Now,
Is
let me
this
ask.
something that we can help?
Right, we could help, but no, N400 is sort of easy. In the olden days, you need to attach two pictures with 2 years and 1 year. And if you wear the things that cover your head, the jihad and stuff, and then it's a fight, because you can't show your year, immigration knows. Now N400 is really simple. If you live in Ohio citizenship is only 5 months to 9 months. I don't even necessarily think you need a lawyer. But on the other hand, you need a lawyer if you have criminal records, if you've been traveling back and forth, because you need out of the past 60 months, you need 30 months. And also after you file, so for example, if your asylum green card, if you never went back home, you can apply 4 years and 1 day and not the 5 years, which means it's 4 years, 9 months. But once you look at or the USCIS stuff itself, N400 is really easy. You just file the check or the form, say on debit card and credit card, the N400. You don't. In the olden days, you need G325A. Now you don't need it. In the olden days, need fingerprint, need pictures. Now you don't need it. And some states like New York, depends on where. It's 1.5 years. Nashville, sometimes Atlanta is 1.5, but Ohio is only 6 months. And if no criminal record, you never really travel, you file tax return. If you married to get a green card, you're still married to the same person, you really don't need a lawyer. And you don't need an experience. I mean, experienced lawyers, we do tough cases. So for example, you married someone, you divorced, and then your 751 was granted, but it was granted after you got a divorce, stuff like that, then you need a good lawyer because they're going to say we applied. Or when you apply for the green card, you had the deportation, you never told them. There's a separate A number, which in the 90s and year 20s, it happens all the time. Those you need a lawyer. But if it's a straight case, I don't even think you need a lawyer. And doing citizenship is really not expensive. It's like $730 or $35. If I were you, I won't need a lawyer. Or maybe just pay some money for a consultation, see if you need. A good lawyer would tell you don't need one or you need one.
Miss Wong, this person is adding, what if I have a felony in my record?
You need a lawyer. And it depends, because it depends on if immigration had picked you up and you won a 212C, 42A, then you need a lawyer, because not every felony, even though you won the court case, a removal case, you could get citizenship. Number one. Number two, it depends on, what kind of felony. Did the law change? Because right now, like One example, Biden is pardoning minor marijuana cases on federal, but didn't pardon the state. So if you have drug cases in state, I would talk to a lawyer.
Okay, yeah, that's. I think that's the root of this question was that this person could have a felony. So, if you need help in this case, please don't hesitate to contact the attorney Margaret W. Wong. The phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. The next question, my wife already have February 2023, the master hearing for asylum pending, and I have already my 10-year here without status. We have U.S. citizen girl together, so it's okay now to apply for 10-year cancellation, or should I wait for my wife pending case?
For your wife, because it was an asylum to start, you need to check the NTA. MC is coming up in February. So if the NTA have no date and time under Ned Chavez, you can file the 42B now to do a non-LPR cancellation of removal. For you, if you have no court pending now, definitely you can start filing 42B. But also see if you can win the case. If it's a little girl that's all healthy, no autism, no Down syndrome, no suicidal tendency, no depression, anxiety, you probably won't win the case even though you may get the work permit. So it depends on what your goals are, depends on the health of the child. Do you have parents that have green card or citizen that's in America? Does your parents need you to also take care of the parents aside from the child? If you do leave and go back home, can your wife stay here alone, who is the breadwinner of the family? There's a lot of considerations. But yes, simply if the wife's NTF no date and time is more than 10 years, the wife also can do the non-LPR 10-year cancellation for you. If you're not in court yet, definitely you qualify for that. But can you win? That's a separate issue.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. Don't forget that you can call the phone number 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984 if you need more information about this case or how to proceed in this situation. Because sometimes we hear information, but we don't know how it goes. So Ms. Wong just explained to you what it means to have an asylum pending or what a 42B is. And many times we don't know the difference. But that's good when you talk to an attorney that has over 45 years of experience on this field and can help you out with this case. 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Okay, Ms. Wong, this next question is, when you're applying for U visa, can you move to another state? I moved from Georgia to other state because my ex-partner beat me up. I called the police and he threatened me. Now I moved, but I want to continue to help the police if it's needed. He got
Okay.
arrested but was released a few days later, and he is an U.S. citizen.
Okay, so let me explain. When you file the U visa, after you file the U visa, you can always move anywhere you want. Before you file the U visa, you could also move anywhere you want. It's the person who signed off, the person has to be from law enforcement. The law enforcement who signed your 918B has to be from the same state where the crime was committed. So as long as the law enforcement sign in the same state where the one committed, you can actually, like for example, the crime is committed in Atlanta, Georgia. I already moved to Tennessee because I was scared. You need to ask law enforcement to sign in Atlanta, Georgia, but you can file when you're still living in Tennessee because there's an address that you go to. So the answer is yes, you can move.
Okay, thank you so much. And well, please, if you need an attorney to help you out with this U visa case, the attorney Margaret W. Wong has offices in 9 states or in 8 states of the United States, but she can take care of your case in any state of the country. She has offices in Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Cleveland, Memphis, Minneapolis, Nashville, New York, and Raleigh, North Carolina. And the phone number is just one 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Miss Wong, uh, this next question is coming in our inbox on our Facebook page. So let me read it for you from the inbox. And this question says, um, former President Bill Clinton said in a recent interview that there is a limit of how many immigrants the United States can take. Um, but now with these new rules in the southern border, uh, will we have any kind of changes in the country? Would it be a suggestion? Do you think that Mr. Mayorkas is gonna
Let,
take
let
anything in
me
mind?
explain this question. The reason why the former President Bill Clinton said that is every year, Congress and Senate in the 60s have passed laws saying that there's a limit of like 1 million legal immigrants can get a green card. So that's what the president's saying. Your question is with the sudden surge, could that number come up? Because the more people who are undocumented or illegal in America, we should or need to give more numbers. Now, on the other hand, the answer to that is to increase the number is not just up to the president, it's not up to the senators, and certainly it's not up to congressmen. The Congress and the Senate have to both pass the law through that judicial committee. Both of them have passed it and then go into committee conferences and stuff. They have to come up with a number and the president sign off. Since the 60s and 70s, there's no increase in numbers. Since December 20th of 20 of year 2000, no more 245I. The laws just have stopped. So that, in fact, I had a luncheon meeting, roundtable meeting with Senator Sherrod Brown, and in Ohio, the senator is very powerful, and he knows the law. So I specifically asked that question. I said, any hope? We're not even asking for comprehensive reform. We're just asking for a 245I extension, perm bar extension, CSPA, Child Protection Act extension, children's passports extension. Could we do that? And that's his answer. With the way that Georgia just won one vote yesterday from from congressmen, from Democrats, and the House lose Democratic majority. He doesn't see any change in any reform. So the question I think we should ask is more what the president can do, because we put him in office with Vice President Harris, and one of their platform is they will help us to get changes at least on the presidential level to, for example, DACA kids. Why couldn't they get a green card? But that you would need Senate and Congressmen. But DACA kids should be able to get extension. That you need the president. The president did say that, but a court shut it down because it's another by a Trump judge. So these are things that we're just praying for. That some judges don't shut it down. But right now, I don't necessarily think there'll be more. In fact, the years that I got my green card in the 70s, and because I came to America in 69 as a foreign student, and it took me years. I had to graduate from school and stuff like that. In my years, it's clearly 1.1, 1.2 million green card. Now we're lucky to get 950,000. In those cases, the asylums, the asylees, they have more numbers than now. If you look at the refugee number, even though they're talking about 25,000, whatever thousand, very, very few people, if any, are granted asylum and refugee. On January 1st of 1994, you have 1 year to apply. That law is still here on asylum. But at least in those days, if you missed the 1 year, even now, there's Mendez Rojas, the saying that as long as you did not get notice in jail, you could extend the 1 year. Still, the government is very, very tough on 1 year, even under Biden and under Mr. Garland, our Attorney General. So times are tough, but keep fighting for what we think is right, not just what the law says, because right now it's becoming tough. On January 6th, I mean, clearly Biden won. I mean, what happened to this Trump thing? Now they're trying to convict us already November. I mean, this is wrong. And that's why we came to America. It's still the most beautiful country in the world, but we just need to make sure people like us, we don't have criminal record, we don't drink and drive, we try to get a status. If we don't get a status, don't be stupid. So these are things that I always advise our clients to do.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. We have a couple more questions. So this is from Hector Angeles. What do I need to travel with my combo card to return to the US?
Okay, first let me explain what's a combo card. Combo card is a card where they give you both a work permit and a travel document, the parole. So the combo card. So all you need is a passport and your combo card, and you can travel, but make sure if you got the work permit and parole on asylum, don't go back to home country. But if you get the parole and the work permit and the green card pending, you're welcome to travel. But I would try to come back as soon as possible, or less than 30 days, or even though the combo card may be 2 years, I would not stay there that long. If you got that card on and from a U visa green card application, also be careful, because in order to get the green card under U visa, your travel you should have continuous at least 3 year stay. So I even advise my clients, try not to get a travel document, but if you get one, try to come home as soon as possible to America. I won't even stay for more than maybe 10 days, because you cannot have, you could have brief and casual, but what happened? The airline closed, like in China now, it's very difficult to get out. I mean, the flights are canceled and stuff like that. So you're stuck. You couldn't even get a green card if the travel is not brief and casual on a U visa, parole the combo card. So just be careful.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And there's another question. We're still receiving more questions, but I don't know if we are going to have time for them. This next question is: Hi, I am U.S. citizen born. Both my parents are from Guatemala. I want to file for them, but they are no longer married. Do I need to file one application for each of them?
No, you need 2 applications.
Okay,
And it doesn't matter if they're divorced, because as long as your father's name is on your birth certificate, even if your mother did not marry him, as long as you are paternalized, that means he recognized you as his son, he gave you child support, and your name is there, you have his last name, you're okay. They don't even need to be married. So divorce is okay.
Okay, so Ms. Wong, he also is asking about the financial support.
That's okay. So you need, if you're single, no children, support one of them, you only need about 23,000, and then you add 5,000. So if you do want to do 2 of them, even though they're divorced and they're never married, you only need about 28,000 for both of them.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. And this last question for today is: Hi, ma'am. Can you please tell me what language would be better for B1, B2 visa appointment? It should be English or my native language, as I have complicated case with them. CBP officers denied my entry in Washington airport because some of my documents mixed up with someone else's. So I have to clarify that case in my appointment next month.
One thing you could do is, if you go on the CBP web, there is a complaint section, or there's a section, not so much for complaint, but to tell you, to explain to them what went wrong, number one. Number two is, I don't know if they cancel your visa and what happened at the airport, because they could have expedited you, expedite removal, that means you cannot come back in 5 years, or they could have just have you sign withdrawal at admission, which means that you can apply. But either event, withdrawal of admission is very different from expeditious removal. Depends on Washington airport. I don't know if you meant Seattle, Washington, which is a nice and easy airport, or Dulles, which is not as nice but also easier than than New Jersey, Newark. So that's what I would do. So if they already cancel your visa, it doesn't hurt to file that on the CBP web and apply for a new visa and explain on the DS-160. You know, when you apply, you have to pay the 160, 180 or $120. Explain to them that it was a mix-up and see if they'll give it to you. But it doesn't also hurt to do a FOIA to explain why the mix-up. If it's just a withdrawal, it's easier. I mean, I have clients like 50%, they do get a new visa to come to America. Also depend on airport, because I don't know what country you're from. Most of the local American embassy people, consulate people, they know what airports are nicer, what airports are meaner, and also if depends on what country you're from. Because if you're from the Arabic world, is so and so from Pakistan, is so and so from India, is so and so. They canceled my visa for 5 years ago. So asked me to visit and see. That's good. That's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. Visit the embassy again before you visit. Fill out the DS-160. Don't complain. Don't say I'm so mad. No complain. No explain. Refile it. And if you have the FOIA, show them. But I'm sure they already have it. That's very good complaint. So you did what I asked. That's very good. You already filed the complaint. Good. And
Thank you
show
so much.
them, yeah, when you apply for the tourist visa again, whatever visa you applied, use the old passport so they'll see the cancellation, and also show them what CBP did. That's very good. 7-digit number. I'm from Pakistan. Good.
Okay.
Good. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. Our time is up for today, so really excited for what's going on tomorrow. So tomorrow the office is open or closed?
We are closing the office. We have a big
Okay.
training.
Tomorrow,
Yeah.
Ms. Wong is doing something really nice and really good for all the staff. So thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for what's going to happen tomorrow, and looking forward to next year and all of the years that are coming ahead. So thank you so much. Don't forget the offices are closed tomorrow, but Monday they will be open again for your service. So don't forget to call. The phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, and looking forward to see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Don't forget to call the phone number 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Attorney Margaret W.